Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to a brand new podcast in which we discuss Denver sporting news, we break down the games, and we talk about what's to come for the teams we love, all through the lens of a bettor. This is the Denver Dollar, and I'm your host, Daniel Shalansky. Without further ado, let's get to it. Now, there are a few things to discuss from this prior Monday. We did have a show, however, I have new headphones for this show. The audio didn't record, my microphone didn't pick anything up. Luckily, it wasn't too much of an issue because the game got postponed due to there was a positive test, just minutes before they came back, just minutes before the game. The players were polled during tip-offs, so if you took any of the bets that I posted on Instagram, again, during the podcast, if you listened, of course you couldn't have heard anything, the sound was off, but luckily, the day that we had technical difficulties, the NBA had health and safety protocol difficulties, and that game was canceled. If you bet, you did get all of your money back. It was unfortunate. We were confident in a lot of our bets. We always like betting. We always like winning money. So it was a little bit unfortunate for us Denver Nuggets fans and us betting fans. Today, though, the Nuggets were bound to have 2 days off. Instead, they have 3 days off due to the fact that they didn't play on Monday. So they have 3 days off. The Nuggets play in LA tonight against the Los Angeles Lakers for a Western Conference Finals rematch. Unfortunately, our Denver Nuggets did not take home that series. Otherwise, they would have played against the Miami Heat in the finals, and who knows what would have happened. But the Nuggets did not win. The Lakers won in 5 games. The Nuggets were only able to seize one of those games, and the Nuggets are out for revenge. Notes going into this game, this matchup, again, the date is Thursday, February 4th, 2021. I apologize for not stating that earlier. Some notes before the game today on this Thursday. For the Nuggets side of the ball, PJ Dozier has been downgraded to out, and Gary Harris is day-to-day, but he will not be playing. He's also out. So those are pretty big, guard absences for the Nuggets. Even if you don't think Dozier's that good, he's faced a lot of, criticism from the fans, the Nuggets fans this season. He still plays a lot of minutes, and he's absolutely a rotation piece on the Denver Nuggets. And his absence in tandem with the Gary Harris absence means that the Nuggets are going to be struggling to fill that guard depth. Expect to see a lot of Monte Morris tonight and a lot of Facu tonight. Facundo Campazaro, that is. Again, for the Nuggets, Greg Whittington is out. We haven't seen him all season. Not worth discussing. On the Lakers side of the ball, they have 4 notable injuries. LeBron James is technically listed as probable with an ankle injury, but he will definitely be playing. Same goes for Anthony Davis. He has a quadricep injury. He will also be playing. They're both listed as probable. The Lakers that will not be playing in this game are Jared Dudley and Kostas Antetokounmpo. That doesn't matter for the Lakers whatsoever. Those guys are not even rotation players. They don't touch the court on any given night, so we can forget about that. The Lakers are looking to be full strength, and the Nuggets are missing some guard depth. Gary Harris is really important, and he's been hot as of late. This looks difficult for the Nuggets. Denver in their last 5 games is 4-1, with their one loss coming to San Antonio, who the Lakers also happen to lose to. They're not listed in the last 5 games, but the Lakers lost to them this month as well. The Lakers are only 3-2. They lost 2 in a row for the first time this season. Earlier this week to Detroit and to Philadelphia. But since then they're 2-0. They beat 2 good teams in Atlanta, 2 playoff teams in Atlanta, and the Boston Celtics. And they also beat the Cleveland Cavaliers before all 4 of those games were played. On the season, the Lakers are 16-6, and the Nuggets are 12-8. So this is going to be one of the Nuggets' most difficult matchups thus far in the young season. Right now, before even discussing kind of the odds that we're going to talk about in just a moment, the Nuggets are not shaping up to win this game. I usually do take the Nuggets. Again, they're 12-8. At the beginning of the season, it was a little bit of a rough patch because we were losing to teams that we absolutely should have beat. But since then, the Nuggets started 1-4. Since that moment, they are 11-4. So that 11-4, if they were able to keep the pace that they're on right now throughout the NBA season, they'd be a 1 or 2 seed coming out of the West. So they're playing like they're capable of, but it's only been as of late that we've seen this out of the Nuggets, which is a little bit unfortunate for us as fans. But the Nuggets are hot right now. It's still a difficult matchup, with the number 2 seeded Los Angeles Lakers, again at 16-6. They only sit behind the other team in LA, the Los Angeles Clippers. who are also, playing very well this season. So I do like the Lakers in this game, and let's dive into some numbers. For the money line, the Nuggets are underdogs in this game. The Lakers are favored in this game. The Nuggets are plus 160 in the money line, and the Lakers are locked in at minus 195. We're not touching the money line. Let's talk about the spread. The Nuggets are plus 5, which means they have a 5-point advantage, and as long as they don't lose by any more than 5 points, you will win that bet. They're locked in at minus 110, and the Lakers at minus 5 are locked in at minus 112. To be quite honest, I like the Lakers minus 5, and it's a shame, but the Nuggets aren't full strength, and the Lakers, LeBron's going to be mad. Jokic is currently sitting right ahead of him in the MVP voting. I buy the narrative that LeBron's going to be mad and be fully amped up for this game. I like the Lakers spread. In terms of the total over-under, the over-under is set at 216.5, with the over being locked in at minus 112 and the under being locked in at minus 109. So that means Vegas considers the over more likely to happen. On the season, the Nuggets are averaging 116.6 and the Lakers are averaging 111.8. So based on that, you would expect the over, but the Lakers are the number 3 defense, or the number 1 defense in the NBA. They're only allowing 104.0 points per game, and Anthony Davis is probably the best guy to match up against Nikola Jokic. It's not that he struggled during the playoff series when they played against each other, but it's that Nikola Jokic didn't, put up his normal godlike numbers. I actually do like the under in this game. The Lakers are not very good at scoring. They're number 16 in the league. I apologize. The Lakers are number 15 in the league in terms of points per game. The Nuggets, again, are number 3 in points per game, but it's kind of flipped on the other side of the ball. The Nuggets are kind of middle of the pack in defense, like the Lakers are on offense. The Nuggets are averaging 111.7 points per game, and the Lakers are, again, allowing only 104. That puts them as number 1 in the league in terms of scoring defense. So because of that, I like the under. The Nuggets are, they got a bunch of guys missing. I don't know if they'll be able to put up one of their usual offensive outputs, and the Lakers only allow 104 points per game. Again, they haven't played as good of a team as the Nuggets in terms of offensive output, so you can expect that number to be higher than 104, but it's difficult to say that they will, it'll be a high-scoring game. It's certainly not going to be a high-scoring game. In terms of parlays that I like, I like the under, so I'm going to tell you a few different things. I think if the Nuggets are able to win, it will be in the over, and I think if the Lakers win, it will be in the under. So I'm going to say that the Lakers win against the spread for the under, and that's locked in at plus 255. That's a bet I'm taking, but I'm also going on the complete opposite side of the game script. Even though I do think the Lakers will win, if the Nuggets do win, it sure is to be a high-scoring game because their defense doesn't stop anybody, especially not, perennial MVP candidate LeBron James. So if the Nuggets win, I will take the over in the money line at plus 380. I like that. Plus 380 and plus 255. So both of those are really good. The only thing that could screw us is if the Nuggets win in the under or if the Lakers win in the over, and yeah, that would be bad for us. But that's unlikely to happen due to the game scripts that we're able to predict. In terms of team totals, the Nuggets are projected 106.5 points in this game, with the over being locked in at minus 108 and the under being locked in at minus 121. So Vegas considers the under more likely to happen. I'm actually not touching this. I do think, like I said, that they will score more than this mark of 104 points. But again, they do have a lot of injured guys, and the Lakers are the best defensive team in the league. The Lakers are locked in at 110.5 points in this game, with the over being set at minus 117 and the under being set at minus 112. I'm not touching either of those. I don't know how each team will perform individually, but we're able to say that the game is probably going to be the under. In terms of the three-way money line, the Nuggets are locked in at plus 180, the Lakers are locked in at minus 167, and a tie is locked in at plus 1400. So why do I tell you to take the three-way money line? I say this every gosh darn show, but I'm going to keep doing it. 1 out of every 19 games this season, a little bit more. 1 out of every 19 and then some change games this season have gone into overtime. So that means I wouldn't bet on a tie unless we're locked in at plus 1900, but it's only locked in at plus 1400. So considering the actual likelihood of a game to go into overtime this season, you're not getting as much of a payout as you should be if you bet on it. but everything's inversely related. Because Vegas considers a tie more likely to happen, thus the value's down. That means they're considering the game to finish through 4 quarters as less likely to happen than in actuality it is. So I am going to take the Lakers in the 3-way money line, locked in at minus 167. So that does it for popular bets. Let's talk about individual players and how we expect them to do. We're going to do that, and then after that, we're going to talk about our favorite thing to talk about, the tip-off analysis. Let me give you a hint. I don't like who's going to win it this time. So let's look at Jamal Murray. In this game, he's set at 1.5 3-pointers, with the over being locked in at minus 152 and the under being locked in at plus 125. On the season, he's averaging 2.1. Over the last 15 days, he's averaging 1.9. And over the last week, he's averaging 2 3-pointers. So, of course, I like him to hit more than 1.5. Even in the last game, he hit 2 3-pointers. And I don't think you're getting bad enough value at minus 152 for the over versus plus 125 for the under. So that's a bet I'm willing to take. It's pretty low risk, low reward. In terms of points, he's set at 18.5. He's scoring 18.9 on the season, 18.1 over the last 15 days, 16.5 over the last week, and 16 in the last game. So his points are trending down, and he's barely averaging more than that on the season. That said, I do like Jamal Murray to get up for this game. This is, all the Nuggets are out for blood. They lost to the Lakers in the playoffs last season, and Jamal Murray was one of the guys who was hot last season. Let's see if this familiar opponent returns him to bubble form. I do like the over there at minus 110, and that is something I'm willing to take. In terms of assists, he's locked in at 4.5. He being Jamal Murray. I need to keep repeating the players' names because, just in case you're tuning in late or you were spacing out, I'm sorry, I will keep saying the players' names. Jamal Murray is set at 4.5 assists in this game. On the season, he's averaging 4.4, but that's been trending up. Over the last 15 days, he's averaging 5, and over the last week, he's averaging 4.5. Over the last week, he's averaging 4.5. So it's trending up versus where it was earlier on in the season, and you're getting better value with the over of plus 110 versus minus 134. I like the over there, especially because Anthony Davis, I don't think it should be Rudy Gobert. We saw Nikola Jokic absolutely dominate him. In my personal opinion, it should be Anthony Davis or Miles Turner, who's getting no recognition in terms of Defensive Player of the Year. But Anthony Davis would be my number one candidate. And truth be told, I think Anthony Davis is the single best defender to guard Nikola Jokic. He has a 7'6" wingspan. He's really versatile. He can guard on the perimeter. He can guard in the post. I think that a lot of playmaking will be done by Jamal Murray. He's probably going to be guarded by Dennis Schroder or Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. That is a way better advantage for the Jamal Murray than it would be for Nikola Jokic. So I like him to do more initiating than we would normally see from Jamal Murray. So that even further makes me want to bet on the over on his assists. Excuse me. In terms of rebounds, Jamal Murray is set at 3.5 rebounds in this game. On the season, he's averaging 4. Over the last 15 days, he's averaging 4.8. And over the last week, he's averaging 4.5. So that's only trending up too. And you're getting exactly the same value with the over as the under. Both are locked in true pick'em fashion at minus 110 for the over and minus 110 for the under. So I like the over, considering the fact that you're getting the same value as the under, and that's what I expect to happen due to everything that has been this season. Now, in terms of the player special, he's projected 26.5 combined points, assists, and rebounds. Considering I'm taking the over on everything, you best believe I'm taking the over on his player special, especially because on the season he's averaging more than that at 27.3, and that's only been trending up. Over the last 15 days, he's averaging 27.9 combined points, rebounds, and assists for Jamal Murray. I'm taking the over around the clock for Jamal Murray. Now, Gary Harris is absent. Let's talk about Will Barton. Will Barton is set at 1.5 3-pointers in this game. On the season, he averages 1.6. Over the last 15 days, he averages 1.5. Over the last week, he averages 2. And in the last game, it's kind of a farce. He's not going to get 5 3-pointers. That's probably going to be his highest 3-point output in any given game this season. But he had 5 3-pointers in the last game. So he has been hot from deep. I do expect the over for Will Barton at minus 110. You're getting the same value as the over and the under. And he's only been trending up from that mark. In terms of points, he's set at 12.5 points in this game. Now, on the season, He averages 11.1. Over the last 15 days, he averages 9.5. Over the last week, he averages 10.8. And again, the last game was kind of a farce, but he scored 18 points in that game. You're getting true pick'em fashion, minus 110 for the over, minus 110 for the under. I'm taking the under here. Despite the fact that I'm betting that he makes at least 2 3-pointers, he doesn't really do that much driving. He doesn't really score that much in other ways other than from the 3-point line. I don't think he touches 12.5, especially considering the fact that he's averaging less than that on the season, and other than the one weird game where he made 5 out of 6 3-pointers, he hasn't been close to that mark. He's only been trending down other than that one game that was totally an outlier. I'm taking the under for Will Barton on points. Now, he's not listed in the assist category. Let's talk about Will Barton rebounds. I'm taking the over for rebounds of Will Barton at 3.5. Now, other things have been trending down for Will Barton. Of course, we've been talking about things have been trending down for Will Barton, and this one is it's not trending down, it's not trending up, it's staying the same. He's averaging 4 on the season, he's averaging 4 rebounds over the last 15 days, and he's averaging 4 rebounds over the last week. Because he's set at 3.5 and the over is locked in at minus 134, you're getting not terrible value. I don't know if, that's something I would necessarily stray away from, because it's likely to happen, and the value of minus 134 isn't terrible. So that's a bet I'm taking, especially considering the fact that we don't have any PJ Dozier, we don't have any Gary Harris Jr., or not Gary Harris Jr., we don't have any just Gary Harris, period. So I wouldn't expect... I would expect Will Barton to be on the court more, and I would expect Will Barton to secure more than 3.5 rebounds, at least 4 in this game. His player special is locked in at 19.5. That's combined points, assists, and rebounds. I'm taking the under on 19.5. On the season, he averages 8.2, and that's only been trending down other than that one weird game, of course. Over the last 15 days, he's averaging 16.5, and over the last week, he's averaging 17.8. I'm taking the under on Will Barton there. Let's talk about Paul Millsap. How many minutes will he get? I have no clue. Do you have any clue? He could get 20 like he's been capped at, or for whatever reason, Coach Malone could play him close to 30 because he makes no sense with his rotations. That is why I'm just going to throw Paul Millsap out the window. I'm not betting on him whatsoever. Seriously, I'm not going to bet on him whatsoever. There's one bet that looks kind of nice, but it's scary because it makes no sense. And, considering the Lakers... They're not. Paul Millsap is good around the perimeter now. He's not really good at banging elbows down low, and the Lakers are a pretty big team. I don't see him having any advantageous matchups that would keep him on the court that much. The bet I'm tempted to take, which I'm going to stay away from, is him for Paul Millsap to secure more than 4.5 rebounds in this game. On the season, he's averaging 5.1. Over the last 15 days, he's averaging 6.5, and over the last week, he's averaging 4.5. So he's been kind of all over the place. It really just depends on how many minutes he gets, and I have no clue. This is something that, I do a ton of research. I spend 2 hours every day updating this table on my computer, making sure I know every single number that would be remotely pertinent to every game that I analyze. And truth be told, as little as I like to say that I have no clue what's going to happen, for Paul Millsap, I have no gosh darn clue what's going to happen. I'm staying away from him entirely. That brings us to the man himself, Nikola Jokic. Before I talk about his numbers, I just want to, talk about the culture behind Nikola Jokic. There was recently an interview where he was, talking about how him and LeBron are technically right now number 1 and 2 in terms of MVP voting. Embiid is number 3. If you listen to the first show that I made a video of, not to boast or anything, there were 6 top candidates. I discussed the top 10. The top 3 was number 1, Luka, number 2, Giannis, and number 3, Kevin Durant. I told you to stay away from all of them for different reasons, but then the next 3, I told you it's worth putting money on all 3 of them. Since that podcast, the 3 guys that I told you to put money on have vaulted. They've vaulted the numbers. They're number 1, 2, and 3, respectively, in terms of MVP voting as of now. And even if you don't think any of them are going to get MVP, but you put money down, like I said, you could cash those bets out now for a pretty, decent payout, even though you don't even have to have it happen. The only thing that has happened is that the likelihood that those guys that I recommended have vaulted the numbers. One of those guys, my favorite candidate, was Nikola Jokic. Now, Nikola Jokic is projected 1.53. Oh, wait, again, about the culture. Jokic, in an interview where he was, talking about him versus LeBron, the interviewers asked him how it feels to be compared to him, especially in the MVP race, and Jokic was hilarious, per usual. He compared himself to LeBron, not in terms of numbers, not in terms of basketball efficiency or output. What he said is, I'm as good of an athlete. I can run as fast. I can jump farther. He was making a joke, of course, because, Jokic, he doesn't really get much more than a foot off the ground, if even. He just kind of hops, uses his water polo moves to be successful. he's an anomaly of an athlete, of an NBA player, but I just thought it was funny that he was comparing himself to LeBron James. We have the number 1 and number 2 MVP candidates on the season in this game, and I liked how he compared himself to LeBron James, not as a basketball player, as an athlete. Now, Nikola Jokic is projected 1.5 3-pointers in this game. On the season, he's averaging 1.4, but that's been trending up. Over the last 15 days, he's averaging 1.8, and over the last week, he's averaging 2.5. So, realistically, I would say it's a 50-50 whether he hits the over or the under. So, what do I look for next after likelihood? Excuse me again, I'm so sorry. I look for value. On the over, he's set at plus 144, and on the under, he is set at minus 177. You're getting such good value with the over that I have to take it, especially because it's going to be tough for him to bang elbows down low with Anthony Davis, my personal defensive player of the year. Now, in terms of points in this game, he's set at 23.5 in true pick'em fashion, 110 for the over, minus 110 for the under. I like the over. I think if the Nuggets win, Nikola Jokic is going to have to do it himself. Well, with Jamal Murray, he's going to have to really carry the load, as we've seen all throughout the season. That's why he's the number 1 MVP candidate, but he will have that difficult matchup of Anthony Davis. So what do I defer back to? I defer back to the numbers. He's averaging 26.8 on the season, and that's only been trending up. 30.6 over the last 15 days, 30.8 over the last week, and he tied his career high when they last played against the Jazz. He scored 47 points. That's absolutely insane. He's had plenty of time to rest since then, so we know he's hot, he's well rested. I like him to secure more than 23.5 points. I'm taking the over. In terms of assists, finally, we're getting good value on the under of assists. Over the season, he's averaging 8.6, but that was really bolstered by the early season success of Nikola Jokic passing the ball. Since then, over the last 15 days, he's averaging 5.8 assists per game, and over the last week, he's only averaging 4.3. I think he's going to need to do a lot of scoring in this game, which means less assists, and he's only set at 6.5 assists in this game, which is the lowest it's been all season, but as of late, we've only been taking the under for Nikola Jokic on assists, and we've been winning, but it hasn't been in terms of good value. He's been getting like 4 assists here, 5 assists here, maybe the occasional 6 or 7 assist game, but every single one of those marks has been the under for Nikola Jokic, but we haven't been getting that much of a payout because Vegas was recognizing that, and they were assigning the under on Nikola Jokic assists to less value than the over. Finally, because they lowered it to 6.5, again, that's the lowest we've seen it all season, he's locked in at plus 110 for the under on under 6.5 assists. I'm taking Nikola Jokic to get less than 6.5 assists because I like the value on the under. In terms of rebounds, he's set at 10.5 rebounds on this game. I'm taking the over. He's averaging on the season, he's averaging 11.8, and that's only been trending up. Over the last 15 days, he's averaging 12.6. So I like the over. It's true pick'em fashion. Same value for the over, same value for the under. I'm taking Nikola Jokic assist or rebound over of 10.5 at minus 110. Of course, I'm taking, because I said I'd like the over for everything except for the actual assists that he will get in this game. I think he's going to have a very large scoring output, close to 30 points. I'm taking the over in terms of his player special, combined points, assists, and rebounds. Again, that's true pick'em fashion. I'm taking the over that he gets more than 40.5 combined points, assists, and rebounds. Final nugget to talk about, Michael Porter Jr. He's locked in at 14.5 points in this game. Real quick, I will say, because he hasn't been getting that consistent of minutes, and he definitely hasn't started since the very beginning of the season, for whatever reason, like I said, Coach Malone's rotations make no sense. He's starting 30-year-old, 180 pounds. He's more than 180 pounds, but I just like to criticize him. He's starting 30-year-old, skinny as a twig, Will Barton, who does not get it done, in my opinion. I don't get that rotation, so unfortunately, Michael Porter Jr. has been absent from a lot of these BetRivers betting cards. But he's been back in the rotations, since his health and safety protocol absence, so he is getting somewhat consistent minutes at this moment, so thank God he's back on the card. We can bet on him. He's locked in at 14.5 points in this game, with the over being set at plus 110 and the under being locked in at minus 134. We saw him. I'm not even going to talk about his numbers because he's averaging way more than that on the season, and it's been trending down slightly, but not significant enough that any of his marks that I discussed, the season, the last 15 days, or the last week, none of those marks are below this mark of 14.5. So, of course, I like the over due to the numbers, And I like the over because when they played the Lakers in the playoffs, Michael Porter Jr. was our X factor. He was stellar. He loved the competition of, having LeBron in his face and having to shoot over him. He loved it. He made LeBron look like just an average defender when he had the confidence that he did. I expect that to come back. I'm taking the over. You're getting better value with the over of plus 110. I'm not touching his rebounds for his player special. I think he scores a lot of points in this game. I'm taking the over of 22.5 combined points, assists, and rebounds for Michael Porter Jr. Like I said, this one's even more narrative-based than, numbers-based. I should be more of a numbers guy. I'm a math major. I'm not an ESPN analyst, even though I watch every single Nuggets game, so I like to think I have more than a clue of what's going on. In terms of actual player analytics, I'm a numbers guy, but for this one, I'm going to say the numbers support it. I don't even need to discuss the numbers that support it, because not only do the numbers support it, Michael Porter Jr. was a beast when they played the Lakers in the playoffs. I'm taking him more than 22.5 combined points, assists, and rebounds. Time for the Lakers. Lakers side of the ball. Dennis Schroder. I'm only going to talk about the ones that I really like in this game. One that I don't like Dennis Schroder to get, I don't really like Dennis Schroder for much, other than I do like him to get more than, or I like him to get less than 20.5 combined points, assists, and rebounds. He's not averaging that many points, he's not averaging that many assists, and you bet he's not averaging that many rebounds, and his rebounds have only been trending down. He's locked in at 20.5 combined points, assists, and rebounds. On the season, he's averaging 21.5, but over the last, 15 days, he's averaging 18.4, and over the last week, he's only averaging 18.5. So he's trending down in this category, and considering the fact that you're getting the same value as the over as the under, I will take the under for Dennis Schroder to secure more than 20.5 combined points, assists, and rebounds. Another one, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. What do I like here? I like Kentavious Caldwell-Pope to secure more than, this one's kind of a risky bet, but it's just like the Jamal Murray 3-point bet. In fact, I think it might be even a little bit better. I'm taking Kentavious Caldwell-Pope to secure at least 2 3-pointers in this game. On the season, he's averaging 1.9. That's been trending down a little bit. He's averaging 1.6 over the past 15 days, but the value is not terrible enough on the over than the under, minus 134 versus plus 110. The Nuggets are going to be playing pretty small, considering the fact that we always play small. We used to run PJ Dozier at the 4 when he was healthy. Again, I don't understand Coach Malone, but we will be playing small. That means a lot of Kentavious Caldwell-Pope shooting the ball around the perimeter. I will take the over on his threes. In terms of his points, I will also take the under on his points. Well, I do think he hits 2 threes in this game. I don't think he does anything else. He's locked in at 9.5 threes or points in this game. True pick'em fashion, 110 for the over, 110 for the under. I'm taking the under. On the season, he's only averaging 9.3, and that's been trending down. He's averaging 7.3 over the last 15 days, and only 4.8 points per game over the last week. Excuse me again. So I like the under. He's averaging less than that on the season. He's trending down. You're getting the same value for the under as you are for the over. I'm taking the under on Kentavious Caldwell-Pope points. I'm not touching his player special. He's locked in at 12.5. I do think he hits the over, but I don't like the value of the over at minus 121, so I'm staying away from that. Again, on the season, he's averaging 12.8, but he's trending down in that category of combined points, assists, and rebounds. I'm staying away from that. I think he hits the over, but you're not getting good enough value, and that one's kind of hard to say. Now, superstar LeBron James. Time to talk about him. He's averaging 2.5 3-pointers per game, or he's projected 2.5 3-pointers in this game. The over's locked in at minus 121, and the under is locked in at plus 100. Let's see what I like for this. I like the over for LeBron James, and he's really been stepping it up from the 3-point range. He's averaging 2.8 on the season, which is above this mark of 2.5 projected in this game, and let's be quite frank, I like the over because he's trending up significantly. Over the last 15 days, he's averaging 3.6, and over the last week, he's averaging 4.3. So he's averaging more than that on the season, and that number is only continuing to climb. So I like the over, and you're not getting bad value at minus 121 for the over versus plus 100 for the under. That's a bet I'm absolutely confident in. He's playing this game. He's technically listed as probable, so you can't expect his ankle to be that much of an issue for him. But if it even is the slightest issue for him, we know that when LeBron gets tired, he likes to shoot the 3 ball from the top of the arc. He likes to settle for his jump shots when he's tired or injured. So even if you buy the narrative that he is hurt, which I don't really buy, then you would especially like this bet of 2.5 threes on the over. In terms of points, he's locked in at 24.5 points in this game. He's averaging his 25.2 on the season, and that's only been going up. He's averaging 27.6 over the last 15 days and 30.8 over the last week. So he's been a beast as of late, and he's only really stepping it up. So I do have to say I will take the over, even though I could buy that LeBron has a little bit of an off night. He will be playing against Michael Porter Jr., so it's a pretty good matchup for him. But I don't know. I buy that, he would only be amped up to show everyone that he is better than Nikola Jokic, but he has a billion guys that he could defer to. Anthony Davis could carry a team on his own. Nikola Jokic, despite how excellent we all think Jamal Murray is, Nikola Jokic doesn't have anybody quite like that. So any given night, LeBron could score, just below 20 points, and Anthony Davis could go off. Jokic doesn't really have that availability to be inconsistent like that. But I'm taking the over due to the stats and I guess the narrative that he's going to be amped up to show the MVP voters that he is in fact better than Nikola Jokic, which, newsflash, I don't think he is. Over his career, obviously he's the better player. In my opinion, he's my GOAT. But this season, that's what the MVP is. This season, I don't think he's, playing nearly as spectacularly as Nikola Jokic. Sorry for that comment. I don't want to get memed. So that's why I felt like I had to clarify. He's projected 8.5 assists in this game, him being LeBron James. He's locked in at plus 110 for the over, minus 134 for the under. On the season, he's averaging 7.4, and that's been trending down over the last 15 days. He's averaging 6.9, and over the last week, he's averaging 7.3. So I'm going to take the under, even though it's not great value of minus 134. In terms of rebounds, he's locked in at minus 7.5 rebounds in this game. Locked in at 7.5 rebounds in this game. True pick'em fashion, same value as the over as the under. On the season, LeBron is averaging 7.8. That number's been trending down a little bit too. I don't really know what it'll hit, and this one's like true 50-50, so I don't like the value on either side. I'm staying away from his rebounds. So again, I'm taking the under on assists. I'm taking the over on three-pointers, over on points for LeBron James. In terms of his player special, combined 41.5 points, assists, and rebounds, I'm not going to touch it, actually. That's pretty lofty. That's higher than even Nikola Jokic, and LeBron doesn't need to put the whole team on his shoulders in order for the Lakers to win a game like Nikola Jokic does. So he could defer more to Anthony Davis. I'm not going to touch that. I like his points. I like the over on points, under on assists for LeBron James. That's all I'm touching for him. Now, Anthony Davis is projected 23.5 points in this game. On the season, Anthony Davis is averaging 22.5, and that's been trending up big time. It's been 20. Actually, I was looking at the wrong numbers. That's been pretty stagnant, actually. He's averaging 23.2 over the past 15 days and 22.3 over the past week. So he's, right around that mark of 23.5. Just in case LeBron does go off, you're getting better value with the over with the under than with the over. So that's what I'm willing to take, considering he's hovering around this mark as of late and over the season of 23.5 points. But he's only set at plus 110 for the under. That's pretty good value in my book, considering I consider it to be 50-50. I like to sneak in those little values when I can. And right here, he's getting better value than I think he should be on the under. I'm taking the under for Anthony Davis. Now, in terms of assists, he's locked in at 3.5 assists in this game. I don't think he'll get close to 3.5 assists. On the season, he's averaging 3.4, but that's been trending down. He's only averaging 2.7 over the past week. And you're getting worse value with the under than with the over, so I'm not going to touch that one. I will touch him on rebounds. On the season, he's averaging 9.1 rebounds, and that's only been trending up. He's averaging 9.1 rebounds on the season, 10.7 over the past 15 days, and 10.7 over the last week as well. So he's averaging more than this mark, as of late. He's really trending up. He's locked in at minus 110 for the over on rebounds, and that is one that I will take. In terms of his combined points, assists, and rebounds, I'm not touching it again. I don't know if it'll be a LeBron night or an Anthony Davis night. Those aren't always mutually exclusive, but oftentimes they are. Let's talk about Montrezl Harrell. I'm going to take the under for everything on Montrezl Harrell. I'm not even going to tell you the numbers because these numbers are based on how he's doing this season. But if Ty Lue has half a brain, he would have seen what happened to the Clippers when they put Montrezl Harrell in at center against Nikola Jokic. That is what allowed the Nuggets to come back in that series was, Montrezl Harrell's absolute incompetence guarding Nikola Jokic. I am going to take the under because I think if Ty Lue has half a brain, he won't play Montrezl Harrell. Montrezl Harrell, in the few minutes he does play, will get absolutely bodied. He will get absolutely sunned by our man Nikola Jokic. So the only ones that he's listed available for are points, 13.5. I'm taking the under at minus 110. Rebounds at 5.5. I'm taking the under. You're getting better value at plus 110. He's averaging just a little bit more than that on the season. And combined points, assists, and rebounds, he's locked in at 20.5. He's not an assist guy. I don't think he's going to score 13.5 points. So he better get a shit ton of rebounds if he wants to come close to this mark of 20.5. And I don't think he will. I'm taking the under there again. You're welcome, Montrez. I hate you. Let's talk about Kyle Kuzma. He's set at 10 points. He was also terrible during the series last year. He looked atrocious. There was one time where I remember one play super distinctly. He was wide open, but his confidence was so shot. He played terrible during the bubble. His confidence was so shot. He was wide open from the top of the key, and he pump faked it with nobody on him. Just because he didn't want to shoot that bad, he pump faked it, and then he looked around and realized nobody came to him. They were daring him to shoot the ball, and what did he do? Shot it, brick. He's been pretty bad this season too. He's locked in at 10.5 points in this game. On the season, he's averaging 9.9, and that's been trending down over the past 15 days. He's only averaging 7.7. I would take the under, but you're getting pretty bad value with the under of minus 152, so I'm not going to touch that. In terms of rebounds, he's locked in at 5.5 rebounds. Now, he's averaging more than that on the season, and he's only been trending up. 5.7 rebounds over the season. 6.1 over the past 15 days, and 6.3 over the past week for Kyle Kuzma. I like him to get more than 5.5 rebounds. And you're getting really good value here at plus 125 versus minus 152 for the under. I like the over, and I actually do like him to get more than this mark. So those are always bets that we take. We can't pass up value combined with likelihood. So we're taking that. For his points, assists, and rebounds, he's locked in at 17.5 combined points, assists, and rebounds. I think he does easily get more than 5.5 rebounds, especially because he's bigger than any other four on the Nuggets. He's a little bit taller than Jamal Green, despite the fact that he's way less physical. He's a little bit taller than Paul Millsap, despite the fact that he's way less physical. I don't know. I think he gets at least 6 rebounds in this game. And to kind of hedge my bet of me saying that I do think he would get the under in terms of points, even though I'm not betting on it because the value is that bad. Like I said, I'm not betting on it because the value is that bad, but just to hedge the idea that, he could score a decent amount of points, you're getting good enough value with his combined points, assists, and rebounds over of plus 125 versus minus 152 for the under. He only needs to get 18 combined points, assists, and rebounds. That's not that much. I'm taking him on the over there. Now we're going to discuss, the last player specials, double-doubles and triple-double threats, and then we're going to finish it off with our tip-off analysis. Again, like I said with the hint, now I'm just going to do a full-on spoiler because I don't give a shit over here. Anthony Davis is going to win the tip-off. Bet on the Lakers. I'll do my analysis later. Nikola Jokic in this game for a double-double. He is set at minus 210 for a double-double, plus 169 for to not get a double-double. Guess what? 20 out of 20 games this season, he's gotten a double-double. What the hell? Why would you bet against it at this point? It should be minus 1,000, not minus 210. But it's minus 210. Think of it as the best investment you'll make on your life. You put down $210. You walk away with $310. You bet $21 on this, you walk away with $31. It's as good of a lock as there has ever been in the NBA, considering the fact he's done it 20 out of 20 games to start the season. That's the second best in NBA history, only to Bill Walton, who started his season off with 34 double-doubles in a row. I think Jokic might even beat Bill Walton's record. I'm taking Nikola Jokic there. I'm betting on it until it doesn't happen, and even then, I'm still going to keep betting on it. Now, LeBron James is also set at a double-double. He's for yes, he's locked in at minus 110. For no, he's locked in at minus 110. True pick'em fashion. I would say no, but it's difficult with LeBron because, yes, he's averaging less than 10 rebounds and less than 10 assists. So the numbers say don't, but because he's a threat in both the rebounds and assists category, because he's technically kind of a triple-double threat, considering those are both pretty close to 10, if he doesn't get it in one, he very well could get it in the other. I'm talking about, categories being assists and rebounds. So I'm not going to touch this. I don't think he gets it, but it is kind of spooky considering LeBron's versatility. For Anthony Davis to get a double-double, he's locked in at plus 175 for a double-double, minus 220 to not get a double-double. I'm going to take him to get a double-double. Like I said, I think he gets more than 8.5 rebounds in this game. So I'm projecting him to at least get 9 rebounds, which means I know he's going to get more than 10 points. So all he has to do is get 1 extra rebound and surprise me for him to get a double-double, and you're getting good enough value at plus 175. I'm taking it. Triple doubles, I'm actually not going to take anyone. I love betting on Nikola Jokic. I love betting on LeBron. Jokic is locked in at plus 400. He's getting that means 1 out of every 5 games he would need to get a triple double for you to be exactly positive. Technically, he's getting a triple double 1 out of every 4 games. So if you were to bet on plus 400 every game this season, you would be in the plus. But I don't like it here. And especially, he got 5 of his triple-doubles in the first 10 games, and he hasn't gotten one since. So he's really, his assists are way down. I might even bet it's minus 560, so it's super low risk but super low reward. I might even put down a lot of money that he doesn't get a triple-double and see very minimal payout, just because I'm so confident he doesn't get a triple-double. LeBron, I actually don't hate this bet, even though I wouldn't think he gets a double-double. Plus 600 to get a triple-double, considering the fact that he's going to want to show up and shut up his MVP voters. He wants them to know that he's the best and not Nikola Jokic. He might try to out-Jokic and try to do everything on the court, including get assists, get rebounds, get points. He's obviously going to get it in points. He's probably going to get it in one of the others. But if he gets a double-double, I wouldn't be surprised if he does secure the triple-double at plus 600. Why the hell not? Let's put money on that. Now, tip-off analysis. Jokic is my man. I would bet on him always, but Anthony Davis is also that dude. Nikola Jokic's wingspan is only 7'3". Only 7'3". I said it facetiously. That's about as big, as long as we've seen him, in versus any of his opponents this season. Anthony Davis has a wingspan of 7'6". That dude is lengthy as hell. I'm betting on Anthony Davis to win the tip-off. Again, we didn't see him take any of the tip-offs during the playoff series where they played against the Lakers in the playoffs. Why? Because they had JaVale McGee, and JaVale McGee took all the tip-offs, so Anthony Davis could save energy because he doesn't want to play the 5. I think that's bullshit. Anthony Davis is better than JaVale McGee on the tip-off. I don't know why the Lakers would do that. But, yeah, Anthony Davis is going to take the tip-off. That means bad news for Jokic. Even though they didn't go against each other in the playoffs last year, like I said, Anthony Davis is a monster on the tip-offs. He's won, he's of the last Lakers 5 games, he only tipped off in 4 of them. He didn't play when they played against Detroit. Marc Gasol took the tip-off, or should I say the ghost or the shell of the former Defensive Player of the Year, Marc Gasol. He is a old dude who can't jump for shit. Anthony Davis, he won 3 out of his last 4. He only lost to Andre Drummond, which I thought was kind of a farce. I went back and I watched all of these tip-offs, and he won the tip-off, but it was weird. They both missed the ball at first, and then it was really uncoordinated. It wasn't that Andre Drummond hit the ball back, to his team in dominant fashion. Andre Drummond secured it himself. They both kind of missed the ball, even though Anthony Davis was higher on the tip-off, and then the ball kind of fell into Andre Drummond's hands after he touched it on the way down. It was kind of BS. Anthony Davis is going to win the tip-off. The Lakers are locked in at minus 122 to score first. That is great value. I'm taking that. That's going to do it for me, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for listening to the show. Sorry, kind of a long one here. I'm trying a new system where I'm using an Excel spreadsheet instead of just writing everything by notes. These were my only notes today. Instead of, in the past, they might look something like this. None of this. This was all online. So maybe I got a little bit carried away because I was so, enthused looking at my beautiful, pretty Excel spreadsheet. Promise it won't happen again. I'll try to be shorter in the future. That is one of the criticisms I've gotten, that it's difficult to watch for 45 minutes, when the game's set to tip off in 6 hours. I have school as I do it after. It's difficult. I got to be shorter. I got to talk about only the bets I do like. Forgive me, ladies and gentlemen. It will be better in the future, and I'll see you then. Thank you so much for listening. Bye.